All right. So we're going to kick it off today. So Mindset Monday. The conversation today, I want to preface it that it's a positive conversation, yet sometimes we got to go a little bit into the darkness to go into the light, if that's okay. So I wanted to preface it a little bit so I don't scare anybody. Um, and it just, as I was sitting here this weekend thinking about some things that I was, just jumping into and getting ready to go. And I just was like, for a moment, I was thinking, like, man, just like 3, 4, 5 years ago, like, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. Like, I'd be so worried about what other people think, et cetera. And there was a clip that I remember with Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary Vee. If you follow Gary Vee, he's pretty like prolific out there with just kind of content around like following your passions and like it's not too late. He goes, they see people in their 50s and 60s that are absolutely crushing it and turning their lives around, etc. And there was a clip where he was like hanging out of his car window and someone said, if you only had one piece of advice to tell somebody that's wanting to do something and live their dreams, what would you tell them? And he said, and I remember watching the video the first time, and he simply said, "You're going to die." And it was the same pattern erupt that everybody on the call is experiencing. And he said, "That's the best advice I can give you. Is it like everyone? We're all going to die. And in 100 years, everyone that you're worried about their opinion of you will be gone. Like we're so like." It's just a really interesting thing is we're like so focused on these in like very specific and small snippets of time and space, and we get so caught up in not following our dreams because of what we think others might think, judge, feel, etc. And at the end of the day, in like less than a generation, all of those opinions are gone, right? So why not go absolutely full blast forward in your dreams, right? And just getting after it. Um, so I was like, okay. And then Hormozy would say this, and then like, so the theme for some of these individuals that I follow that are living at the highest level is everybody that you're worried about thinking what they're thinking are going to be gone and insignificant. And then all the reasons why you're not doing the things are made up and insignificant. And the fact that like the people that you think matter don't, and the people that have an opinion will be gone. But the thing that could remain is what you leave behind and your legacy and like what we teach our kids and what we leave our families and what we like the examples that we put or maybe you put it into a book or a course or a training that lives on with your name attached to a quote or a system or a way that you've approached it. And it's just like there's so many opportunities for us to be living the wildest version of our lives possible that is just on the other side of taking a risk and saying, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just go. Let's jump. I'm not ready. I'm not qualified. I'm not whatever. And going back to Ed Mylett and my favorite quote out of his book, The Power of One More, is saying, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. So jump, jump, go do something freaking scary. Like, Queen, jump on the phone, just start ripping through some names and numbers. You're going to find people that really need you. For whatever reason, something stops us. Or, hey, you know what? It's time to grow and scale. And don't know what's next, but I know that I need help and we're going to figure it out. Right. There's so many things that it's okay. I was with, so um, my daughter just signed up to serve at church. And she was like, I'm so scared. And I'm like, well, let me ask you, are you scared or are you excited and nervous because you just don't know what to expect? She goes, well, that. And I'm like, okay, so let's be excited and nervous. And let's just realize that nobody on their first day knows anything about anything. And you're just like them. And it's okay to be excited and nervous. And you're going to be surrounded with people that know exactly how to help you. And she goes, yeah, that's right. And then so she sat down and did the signing day and they did the big confetti cannons and all the things. And they make a big production out of it. It was pretty cool. Um, but how many times do we sit down and go, I'm scared, but like we're just mislabeling it. Like I'm excited. I'm nervous because I don't know what the outcome of the results are going to be, but I've got like a lot of energy around it. Are you scared? Or are you just excited, nervous for the unknown? So I wanted to open up the conversation with that and get your take, see what you think.
I think that's amazing. 'Cause I just had that same conversation with the builders at the event that I was at, and I was telling them, it's like, yeah, you know, it's a lot of new things that I'm learning and doing that I've never done before, but every time I think about not doing it, I'm like, dude, this is my one life. I have to try. And when I read stories about, successful business people, like I read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the creator of Nike. I'm like, yeah, no one knows. A lot of people don't know anything about anything, but through perseverance, diligence, and being willing to try, they were able to achieve so much.
Everybody who's an expert was once a beginner. Everyone who's doing it started. That's it. Like everybody. No one was born into this with all the answers. Nobody was born qualified. Like everything that's out there, somebody just said, why not me? And that's really the energy that I want to bring in today's call. Why not you? Why doesn't it start with you? Why not me? Why not?
I loved your saying the God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. I mean,
Yeah.
that just super resonated with me. I don't know, just hit home. Um, but another thing that so I was listening to, I can't even remember who. I listen to so many podcasts anymore. I listened to something the other day where they were talking about like why you're not making cold calls. And one of the things that he said was you're so afraid of the loss, basically not getting an appointment, getting rejected, whatever, the loss that of something that you don't already have. Like you don't have it now, so you've already lost it. You're afraid to pick up that phone and make the call because you're afraid you're going to lose it.
Mhm.
I agree with that, but sometimes we need to remember the powerful feeling of when we do get
Mhm.
an appointment, we do get other things. When we make that call and we get it, we need to remember that feeling that we get when, wow, that went well. Or, we need to remember that more than we do the fear. And I always focus on, I don't always, but sometimes I focus more on the fear of not getting it when instead of focusing on, wow, remember when I got that appointment?
Uh, yeah. Um, and so like when I try to like dissect why we get stuck and why we don't take action, what I find it interesting is I keep going back to like my girls also are very they're very high C, they're very high compliant, high detailed, where they don't like to move unless they can see the entire thing. Like if they won't start unless they understand how it finishes. And then when they still did, they just get stuck and they get frustrated and they're like super upset and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I said, okay, what's next? What's just the next step? If you did know, what would be the next step? And just do that. And then once you do that, then you're going to come up to the next step. And then you're going to figure that out. And I think for whatever reason, we have this idea that everybody only takes action when all the steps are clear. And the reality is that the people that are winning at the highest level are good at just figuring out the next step in the moment. And they go, I trust that on the other side of this is the answer. And they did, and they take action. And here's the thing, it is because if we can reframe how failure shows up for us, and it's not that like if you take action you get you get the win, and like that's a failure or like it's success. That's not the case. You take action and you just get a result, and that result is either what you expected or a surprise. So if it's what you expected, cool, then what's the next step beyond that? And if it wasn't what you expected, then you've got information of like, okay, where do I adjust? How do I then do it different? And then you just attempt it again. You just take another throw at it. You run another ad, or you make another call and adjust your script, or you go on the next appointment and then know that if somebody asks this question, I'm going to respond this way instead of the way that it was. And it's through the reps, and it's through the interactions, and it's through the connections that you start to compile your experiences and your wins. And then it goes back to what I talk about in the book, and it's the 3 C's of leadership, and that's competency, confidence, and then conviction, right? Competency, just like everyone is like, well, I'm not confident. And I'm like, of course you're not, because you have no evidence, you have no successes, you have no reps. And so you can't get confident until you have competency. And the only way to become competent at something is not studying, reading, watching, looking. It's through doing. It's through living. It's through experiencing. It's through collecting evidence. And as you continue to collect evidence, you start to build a benchmark of evidence. And that creates confidence that's grounded in a reality, as opposed to false bravado or puffery. There's people out there that are confident, like that are empty, because they're talking theory, and you can see it, you can feel it. Like, that's the gurus out there that are teaching or coaching that haven't done anything yet. It's like the danger of someone that's brand new in the business. They do 1 or 2 deals, and now all of a sudden they're a productivity coach, or they're leading the office. And it's like, you haven't done enough yet, but doesn't mean you can't help somebody. And it doesn't mean that there's not a place for it, right? And sometimes, yeah, you got to fake it till you make it. But like, again, let's reframe that. I don't like fake it till you make it. However, I do like face it till you make it. But then at the end of the day, I ask myself, okay, well, what is make it? Like, at what point is it made? At what point have you got it? As opposed to embodying the idea, the mindset, and the energy of, I am someone who just continues to take action. I'm an action taker. I'm an evidence builder. I'm a collector of results. That right there for me, like and again, what's fun is, like, I haven't rehearsed this call. I don't even have this in notes. Like, I didn't even write any of this down. I had 2 bullet points I wanted to cover. And here we are in this part of the conversation. I would probably say that right there, that mindset, that energy around, I am a collector of evidence. I am an executioner. I do things and I find results. That is the rocket fuel for your life, the life that you deserve, beyond your wildest dreams. Becoming someone who just takes action, collects evidence, and looks at results. There's no failure, there's no win, there's results. And if you just move forward, the next step shows up. And I don't know if I shared this the other day on a call. I remember so I've got a lot of little moving parts in my world. I've got some side projects. I got like my main gig. I got like a couple things. And like my world, I've got like 5 bubbles that I'm constantly kind of reaching into and doing some things. And in one of them, it's like, so now that the book's written, that's been something huge in my mind for whatever. And I kept putting out an intention of like, I don't know the pieces in what order yet. I have this really great idea. I want to get this out there. I really desire to put this together. So I kept putting out the energy around, I just need somebody to put these in the right order for me. And the next meeting I went on was exactly that conversation, which led to an introduction, which then led to the process. Just recently, same thing. Now that the book is done, I've got a couple different things going, and I'm like, if someone could just help me put these in the right order and how to execute on this with the system. I'm missing a system. In coaching, I ask, if we didn't hit the goal, what are we missing? Are we missing accountability or a system? And oftentimes it's just a system. And so I'm sitting here going, I'm missing a system. I know what I need to do. I know how to do it. I put it all together. I'm missing a system. So I put it down. I wrote it down. I put the intention of the universe. Guess what the algorithm starts freaking showing me? Literally my very next coach. So I click, I read, I listen, I go, this is resonating. It's in alignment. Click. what's the next step? $22. Okay, click. I'm going to go in there. Oh, and then he speaks directly to my next pain point. And for $97 more, I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please. And the next thing you know, I'm like, shoot, here we go. I'm in the next funnel. And now I'm 49 days away now from launch. And I'd been thinking about it for so long, not knowing what's next. But the next thing for me was, okay, like I've compiled all the things. What's next? Now I need to put the energy and intention of I'm looking for the next. And it showed up. It showed up. Action, moving forward with intention, and then casting out your desire into the universe, into the space. I promise you the answers are there. Are you eyes up, open enough to hear it? Because I could have just been like, the challenge is like, you could be working so hard that your head's down that like your solution's right in front of you. But because you're working so hard and your head's down, you don't see it. Like you sometimes got to put your head down, work hard, take a second, pause. Now look around, see where you're at, and then take a note, take stock of where you're at, because the next solution could be right in front of you. Right? Remember, when providence takes action, like when you take action, providence comes through to help. So if you're moving forward, pause, look up, and then realize, there it is. There's the next step. But it may require you to step into another piece of faith, to step into another belief. Right? Michelle just, week 2 ago, reached out to me. She goes, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I think that's freaking amazing. She says, I'm really scared. I was like, good. That makes it extra amazing. But are you scared? Are you just super excited for the unknown? And are you super excited because it's going to cause you, it forces you, there's no excuse but to transform. And that's the best kind of energy. I'm now addicted to the energy of transformation, which before used to cause me a lot of anxiety. And now, if I don't have a little bit of that energy of transformation in my world, which is pushing me to become a better version of myself, that's when I get super antsy. When things become too easy, that's when I get really freaked out. Flip side, that's also one of my blind spots, is sometimes I gotta like live in the boredom of mastery for a second while also creating. Let me pass the mic for a little bit. I've been talking way too long.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a combination. Like I like how you're, changing your mindset to excitement. There also has to be a level of commitment there. I'm committed to do this, and whether I fail or whether I succeed, right? I'm just doing it. I'm all in. I'm going to do the activity. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to jump with both feet. And yeah, I think so. It's a combination of that, like jumping in, being fully committed. And then, yeah, I like your idea of getting excited. There's something about the energy, like when you look at vibration and frequency, like energy and or how it reacts in your body. Energy and excitement actually react to the exact same way. So if you're fearful on something, there's a really, looks ridiculous, but it's an exercise that I talk to a lot of my coaching clients about, that if you're really nervous about something, you can choose to be fearful and nervous and anxious about it and whatever, or you can literally jump up and down and turn it into positives. Like I'm afraid that I'm afraid I'm gonna get rejected on the phone. You could literally just jump up and down and be like, I am so excited to get my next deal, and just do that for a minute before you pick up the phone instead of sitting in that fear. And it changes the whole, like your whole vibration, how you come off to people and how your mind is kind of just ready to jump into things. So literally like the chemicals and all that you're producing in your body are really the same, whether you're in fear or excitement. You just have to shift like what you're saying, how you're saying it, and then use that anxious energy to move in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing you said I love, and I was just having a coaching conversation. There's a group that I coach with, and we were going over expectations, and we had to do a realignment of something that everyone loves to say. And everyone's like, well, just do your best. And I think as parents, we always say that, be like, hey, you know what? Just do your best. And I think that's okay to get started. I think we need to start with our best, but at some point, it's no longer about your best. Sometimes it's about what's required. And especially so like if you're just working for yourself and there's no one else that's counting on you, maybe the best is enough. But when there's people at home that are counting on you, they don't want you to do your best. They want you to do what's required. Your mortgage company doesn't want you to do your best. Your mortgage company is counting on you to do what's required. They're not saying, hey, that was really close. Good enough. Did you do your best? Well, then that's all right. The number's the number. You do what's required. And in this market right now, in these shifts, like, I think it's kind or maybe it's nice to say, hey, did you do your best? Okay, well, let's build on that. But sometimes it's like, hey, I know that you did your best, but right now your best isn't it. Your best, like, okay, you made 6 contacts and that's more than you did before. I know that that's your best, but what's required is 20.
Well, and let's get real. What we think is our best usually isn't our best.
It's your best up to that point, but it's not your best because everybody's operating at 40 to 60%, period. No matter how hard you think you're working, how efficient you think you are, man, we're at 40 to 60 tops. Anyway, this was an interesting convo. This went a lot of different places. Ramil's just really soaking it in. Any thoughts from the sage?
From me?
Yeah. You always have really good insights.
Yeah, my allergies are killing me today. Yeah, no, I think it's super important. I think I've gone through that, a few times in my career. And it's only been, 3 years, but yeah, there is something to definitely pushing yourself. Last year was a great year for me, and my kind of, mantra for it was I want it more than I fear it. And that just saying that alone got me to do a bunch of different things that um I probably would have done eventually, but it got me to do them a lot quicker, um and to get the results that I wanted. So there's definitely something there with pushing yourself and being uncomfortable and just doing what you got to do.
Right on. Any other final thoughts? We got 1 minute before we jump off.
Oh, Audra, I didn't see that you were in the car, but I just wanted to say thanks so much for the encouragement. Mhm.
Awesome. All right, y'all. So take a look at this week and look forward with the excitement of like anything is possible. Find the very next step and don't just do your best. Attack it with what's required. And then the next step shows up. I promise. I promise. The next step shows up every time. All right, y'all. See you Wednesday. Same time, same channel. Bye.